Hey everyone, it's Rob from EDC Specialties, and I'm here at the Roost Studios today with my friend Terrell. And Terrell's going to talk to us today about how he uses his Ask knife, the American service knife, which he's got in a really cool configuration. And that's one of the great things about this is if you're not familiar with the American service knife, it's kind of like a modular Swiss Army style knife. You can build it out to whatever you want it to do, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, I can remember back, I don't know, was it a year or two when the idea was going to launch? I had always carried multi-tools, Swiss Army knives, just always enjoyed being on camping or whatever, having a tool ready.
Yeah.
So, but Swiss Army knife, I find myself buying this model, that model, the other model because of different, depending if I'm going out, if I want a file or a saw, I gotta grab a different knife. And I've always kind of wondered why don't they make something that's modular, or at least where I can put it in a special order for something exactly the way I want it. Nope, they don't do it. Leatherman doesn't do it. So anyway, you told me about that, and I was just couldn't wait for the day when that came out. So I think I was probably the first one. I think I was the first one to buy the Jefferson one. Right. So anyway, so I've built the single layer, the double layer, and I've got my favorite is what's on the table is the triple layer. But it's extremely, I just find it extremely handy to use.
Great.
Yeah.
So what line of work are you in?
I'm a general contractor.
General contractor.
Be around, and it's just kind of nice if you go into a customer's home just to kind of see a job, have a tool to open something up, or have to go out and get a tool out of the truck, and it's been really handy.
Really handy, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the ASK knives come in 4 different base models. There's a different blade and a couple of different tool choices depending upon which model you buy, but essentially you can build it out from scratch even however you want, including handles and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
I've got mine all blacked out with PVD hardware and PVD tools and flamed hardware to match my Medford knife collection. But let's talk about how you've got yours done, Terrell, because you've really done some cool customization.
Yeah, I'll pick it up from the table.
Okay.
I guess I can open it up in front of the camera. But so one thing you'll notice about mine is I've got different colored handle scales, and I've played around with different. It's kind of my favorite. I like the silver and the clear, or excuse me, the yellow and clear. And for me, that helps me know that as soon as I pick this thing up, I know I've got my bottle opener tool over here, and my my scraper chisel underneath here.
So you use the color to designate, the tool that's on that
exactly.
side.
I mean, you can look and see. Well, I guess both handles have the same Ask logo. So you really can't differentiate if you put the same color handle. You really can't tell. So, and on the gold side, I know I've got the quarter turn tool here,
right,
and then I have the awl over here, and then in the middle, I put here are my modified tools. And I'll screen this one out of the way, and then I'll show it on camera. These out at 45, and then this one here is the AR, I guess what they call it, the AR tool, or script tool.
Right.
So under camera there is my tool. So I wanted to take and get a 3-layer tool with 6 tools on it, and I needed another tool, and I didn't know. In the bolt scraper, I don't work on ARs, so I looked at that and I thought, well, I'll get that thing and I'll just cut off. I guess we don't have an example, so just to show the camera what that looks like, is it has this little flag part. So I cut that part off, and then I made a little probe, and I thought I didn't have any specific use. I didn't have how I would use that, and it kind of gets into a discussion here now of when you have a lot of these tools I was alluding to, I think earlier in the conversation, a lot of them don't. There's more to this tool than meets the eye. You have situations come up, and you go, okay, how am I going to do that? And you go, I've got this tool on my Ask tool, and I'll do this.
Right.
So, for example, this tool, my wife and I put on a Cinco de Mayo party, and she had these flags going across her table, and she tied them, and I was ready to get she wanted them down. I get my knife. She said, no, don't cut it. And she tied it so tight. And how am I going to get that off? So I got this tool out,
Yeah.
And right with that little, the little probe tool, I went right into the knot, and I could untie it.
Yeah.
Another time I was in one of the bathrooms at a workplace. No one was coming out of it, so someone must have either gotten sick in there or they just locked the door somehow and walked out. It just so happens that little probe tool goes right into that privacy lock and then unlocked the door. Well, no one was in there. Now we're in the bathroom.
Right.
So anyway, it's just kind of a case in point is that something comes about you need to do,
right,
and you go, okay, it's just creativity. You think, okay, how am I going to solve this?
Yeah.
But a lot of these things lend themselves to so many things, like this quarter turn tool with that radius. There's times where with a flathead screwdriver, I can get at an angle and keep turning that screw in confined places because that radius really works great, and it's just a nice smooth edged pry tool. And you probably notice on here I put a magnet on here, so if I take that magnet out, I can put that magnet on my tool. And like one time I was working on a ceiling fan, I dropped the screw, taking the housing off the ceiling, the screw fell into the ceiling fan. I was able to take this magnet out and pick up the screw and get it out.
That's cool.
These 1/8" tools and this thick, this magnet hides right in there kind of nicely.
Yeah, it does. That's perfect.
So there's just been so many things to do it. It's a real handy.
Well, and I noticed you don't have a blade in here because you carry a primary blade.
Right. But what's cool about this is I'll just show you. Like package opening is probably the number one thing somebody does with a knife.
Yeah.
Well, with this, there's no paper here, but I'll take this quarter. This is razor sharp. There's no paper in here, but I can take this tool right here, and this will just score. I don't really need a knife for that.
Right.
But this is a blade, like coming in here and slicing.
Yeah.
It just works. I find this for a lot of knife tasks. This will work, but it does a lot more. Another thing I want to kind of point out, if anyone has carried this, the little problem I've solved with them is you've noticed, like particularly on the interior tools, the nail nick's only on one side.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've come across this. But you can't get to that tool, but these tools do press down, and then you can get your thumb in there and open it up. It's really not a problem.
Right.
I thought that's kind of cool how that works.
It's very well thought out from the manufacturer's standpoint, and then you get someone like you who's really innovative and thinking about how am I going to get something done with the tools that I have on me. I mean, you've gone so far as to actually modify the tools that are made. I'm not sure if that voids the warranty on this or not. We won't worry about that right now. But the fact is, you can make it what you want, and the standard set of tools and the different scales. You can do it like that to designate your sides, or you can make them fancy. I just put one together for my golf bag. So this is a nice little green one. I'm waiting for the divot tool to come out.
Oh yeah.
Through there.
That's supposed to have a can over it too.
Yeah, I know he's working on that, and then I've got my all blacked out one here as well.
There's just so many.
We have PVD tools on this one. So there's a lot of things that you can do with these, and they really are handy. And as more and more tools become more available, you can continue to expand that out and turn it into whatever you want.
Absolutely. I could say one more thing.
Sure.
As far as, so I've always been a big Leatherman carrier. I mean, I like a pliers-based tool, and so a lot of times I've been, I find myself back in the Swiss Army days, knife days, because I don't carry those too much more because I really prefer this. I'll carry the Leatherman, and I wouldn't carry my Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Well, now I've kind of discovered there's some discussions on YouTube, and so what I'll do is I'll carry like another pliers on my hip, so you can carry some pliers with you and this tool. And this tool really lends itself better for what you do with the other tools is screwdriver. Yeah. And the way that offset, the way this tool offsets, it doesn't want to close on you, and it's center line. You can drive, and then if you've got a separate pair of pliers, you can hold like a nut and then come in here and turn it. Where you couldn't do that with just Leatherman. So I kind of like the lightness of this going in the pocket and then carrying just some pliers. So if anybody who's reluctant to carry that because they'd rather carry a multi-tool, pliers-based multi-tool, I think some sort of pliers with carrying this, that I found it to be
especially in a career like yours where you're constantly on the job site. You never know if you're going to be having to mess with wires, screws, nails, wood, concrete, right? All kinds of things. You might be scraping caulk out of something, digging a hole in something. So to have all of these tools at your disposal, really just in your pocket right there, without having to go to the toolbox or back out to the truck.
Right. And it's surprisingly light for it's a 3-layer tool. And it's still, it's perfect. I mean, the length. It's a nicely designed tool, very quality.
It is 100% made in the USA. CPM powdered metals. So S45VN is the primary metal being used right now. Titanium liners, titanium hardware, and injection molded scales, which many of them are actually UV printed now as well. We've got some really cool designs, and the new tri-way pivots, which you don't have on yours yet.
No, and I think if you did that, you're talking about the pit stop.
Yeah, not the tri-way. I'm sorry, the pit stop pivots, right?
Pit stop, yeah. But if you do that, I'm hoping they're going to come out with a pocket clip. But I think you can use that pocket clip if you use those pit stops.
That's true. There is a pocket clip coming out as well, so you do need that for that.
Yep.
Right on. All right. Terrell, thank you so much for coming in today and showing us your ASK American Service Knife. I love the way you're using it, and I can't wait to see what you do with it in the future as more things come out.
Thanks.
Everybody, thanks for joining us in the Roost today, talking about the ASK American Service Knife. You can find them on our website at edcspecialties.com.